We all depend on farming to eat, right? But it's also facing some seriously big problems right now. I'm talking climate, our soil health, and even plastic pollution. But what if? What if the tractor, the most iconic piece of farm equipment, could actually be part of the solution? That's what we're digging into today. This idea called the AGeo Purifier, which could basically turn every farm into a healing machine.
So let's just think about this for a second. What if just driving a tractor across a field wasn't just about farming anymore? What if that simple act could actually restore the environment? I know, it sounds a little bit like sci-fi, but that's the big idea we're going to unpack here. A tractor that's literally designed to heal the planet while it's doing its job.
Okay, so before we get into how this healing tractor works, we've got to understand the problem it's up against. And really, modern farming is dealing with a triple challenge: climate, soil, and even plastic.
First up, climate. It's no secret that agriculture contributes a lot of CO2 to the atmosphere. But here's the thing, what if farms could completely flip that around? What if they could become a solution, actively pulling carbon out of the air instead?
Then there's the soil challenge. The very ground our food grows in. A lot of farmland is becoming degraded, and it's losing this crucial carbon that keeps it healthy and fertile. And we're not just talking about dirt here. Healthy soil is, well, it's everything. It's the foundation of our entire food system.
And number 3, this is a sneaky one that we don't always see: plastics. We're talking about tiny little particles, microplastics, from all sorts of stuff, even from the wear and tear on the tractor tires. And all of that is getting into our soil. And, you guessed it, into our food.
So, okay, 3 huge problems. The AGeo Purifier concept is all about one really elegant solution that tackles all 3 at the same time. And the best part? It leverages the one machine that's already on every farm, the tractor.
Yeah, this quote really nails it. The whole idea isn't to give farmers more work. Nope. It's about taking something they're already doing, driving the tractor, and turning it into this powerful act of restoration. It's about making every single pass across the field mean something more.
So this is the trifecta, the triple action power of this whole system. Think about it. In just one pass, while the tractor is doing its usual thing, it's also pulling CO2 out of the air, building up that healthy carbon in the soil, and cleaning up microplastics. 3 huge jobs, all in one go.
All right, so how does this thing actually pull it off? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the tech and really see how this system works when it's out there in the field.
The real game changer here is the shift from, guesswork to absolute precision. The old way, you just spread stuff evenly across the whole field and hope for the best. This new way is totally different. It's a smart system, a multitasker, using real-time sensors to give the soil exactly what it needs, precisely where it needs it. No more, no less.
So it all kicks off right at the front with something called the soil sense bar. You can basically think of this as the tractor's eyes and brain. It's constantly scanning the ground, checking things like soil pH and moisture, and it can even spot plastic pollution. All of that information gets fed right into an onboard AI, which is kind of the brains of the whole operation.
So based on what those eyes are seeing, the Smart Hopper springs into action. It doesn't just blanket the field. It applies a super precise dose of this special mix only where the soil needs it. And this mix is pretty amazing stuff. It's got things like crushed up rock that actually reacts with CO2 to pull it from the air, plus biochar and good microbes to lock that carbon deep in the soil for a really long time. And then we get to the cleanup part. This is where it gets really clever. Built right into the wheels is something called the Ag Purifying Rotor. Honestly, the best way to think of it is like a self-powered vacuum cleaner. It just uses the motion of the tractor to literally suck up microplastics and those bits of tire wear right out of the soil as it goes.
Okay, so we've got this super smart system doing 3 things at once. That's cool and all, but what does it actually achieve? What's the payoff in the real world? Let's dig into the numbers.
First, let's talk climate, because this is a big one. The system is designed to lock away somewhere between 1 and 4 tons of CO2 per hectare every single year. Now, to give you an idea of what that means, 4 tons of CO2 is roughly what the average car puts out in a year. So imagine wiping that out for every single hectare of farmland.
Now for the soil itself. We're looking at a 20 to 40% boost in stable organic carbon. That's the good stuff, the carbon that's locked away for the long haul. And for farmers, this is absolutely huge.
It means your soil is more fertile, it holds water better, it doesn't erode as easily. And at the end of the day, it just grows healthier, stronger crops.
And what about that cleanup? The goal is to pull out up to 2 kilograms of microplastics and tire bits per hectare each year. Now, I know 2 kilos might not sound like a ton, but remember, this is an invisible problem. This is actively removing that pollution from our farmland year after year.
This chart kind of pulls it all together. You can see exactly how each piece of the puzzle leads to a result. That ERW mix, the crushed rock we talked about, that's what's grabbing the CO2. The PMMB and biochar, that's the magic mix that stabilizes the carbon in the soil. And of course, the rotor is on microplastic duty. And that soil sense bar, it's the brain, making sure the whole system is running as efficiently as possible.
Okay, so throwing around big numbers and making these claims is one thing, but proving it, that's a whole different ballgame, especially when you're talking about carbon capture. So the big question is, how do you actually measure all this and prove the impact is real?
Well, the answer is a system with a kind of nerdy name, MRV. It stands for Measurement, Reporting, and Verification. The easiest way to think about it is like a super secure digital logbook for the farm that can't be changed. It tracks every single thing the system does, which makes the results totally transparent, auditable, and trustworthy. And this is where things get really exciting. Because when you have that kind of rock-solid verified data, it opens up a brand new way to think about how we value this kind of environmental work. The big idea here is something called a carbon plus credit. So instead of a farmer just selling a credit for removing CO2, they could sell a bundled credit, a premium credit that also includes the value of making the soil healthier and cleaning up plastic pollution. It's a way to reward them for the whole package, the total ecological restoration they're doing.
And that really brings us right back to where we started. With technology like this on the horizon, could we really, truly transform our farms? Could they become more than just places that grow our food and turn into these powerful engines for healing our planet? A tractor that heals? It's a pretty amazing idea to think about.